OBS recording nama. Zoom එක ගන්න. හරි. ළමයි අද 2027 A level අපේ accounting class එකේ දෙවෙනි දවසේ. හරි. පළවෙනි දවසේ අපි පන්තියට පොඩි හැඳින්වීමක් කරා විෂය කරුණු කතා කරන්න ගියේ නැහැ. හරි. එතකොට විෂය කරුණු කතා කරන පළවෙනි දවස වෙන්නේ අද. හරි. පන්තියට ලයිව් සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ඉන්න හැමෝම මම බොහොම ආදරෙන් පිළිගන්නවා අපේ පන්තියට. හරි. ඉතින් මම එදා කිව්වා වගේ එදා මම සිලබස් එක මොකක්ද කියන එක කතා කරා. ඔයාගේ විභාග ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේ ආකෘතිය කතා කරා. ඒකටනේ අපි අවසානයේ හරි නැතුව ගිණුම්කරණය ගැන accounting ගැන මුකුත් අපි කතා කරුවේ නැහැ එදා. අද කතා කරනවා. හරිද? එතකොට මම එදා පැහැදිලි කළා අපේ පන්තිය කෙරෙන විදිහ. හරි? පන්තිය කෙරෙන්නේ සිලබස් එකේ පාඩම් ටික මොනවද කියන එක මම ඔයාට එදා කියලා දුන්නානේ. හැබැයි මම එදා ඊට පස්සේ විස්තර කළා මේ ගිණුම්කරණය කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි අපේ පළවෙනි පාඩම් ටික. හරි? පළවෙනි පාඩම් ටිකේම ගිණුම්කරණය කරන විදිහ තමයි උගන්වන්නේ. හරි? ගිණුම්කරණය කියන්නේ ළමයි කාර්යයන් කිහිපයක එකතුවක්. එක කාර්යයකට පස්සේ අනිත් කාර්යය එන විදිහට පිළිවෙලට යන්නේ. එතකොට පාඩමින් පාඩම උගන්වනවා හරි මුල ඉඳන් ඒකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හැබැයි අපි මුලින්ම ගිණුම්කරණය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක පොඩ්ඩක් අවබෝධ කරගෙන තමයි පාඩම් වලට යන්නේ. හරි? ඒක ඇත්තටම අපේ පන්තියේ තියෙන විශේෂත්වයක්. මොකද පාඩමෙන් පාඩම වෙන් කරලා ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට සමහර තැන් තියෙනවා අපේ මේ ක්‍රියාවලිය පොඩ්ඩක් බ්‍රේක් වෙනවා. පොඩ්ඩක් කැඩෙනවා වැඩි. හරිද? ඒ නිසා මම පොඩි සරල උදාහරණයක් අරගෙන මුලින්ම කතා කරනවා ගිණුම්කරණය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. එතකොට ඔයා O level වලට කොමර්ස් කළත් නැතත් හරි මම පළවෙනි දවසේ විස්තර කළා O level වල accounting කියලා ඉගෙන ගන්න ක්‍රියාවලියයි A level වල තියෙන ක්‍රියාවලියේ අතර වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. හරි? A level වල තියෙන ක්‍රියාවලිය තමයි වඩා ප්‍රායෝගික O level වල තියෙන එකට වැඩිය. තේරුණාද? එතකොට ඒ නිසා A level වල තියෙන ක්‍රියාවලිය තමයි අපි මේ ක්ලාස් එකේදී කතා කරන්නේ. ඒකනේ අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නත් ඕනේ. හරි? හරි. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා පන්තිය පටන් ගන්නකොටම ගිණුම්කරණය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා සරලව පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් කරනවා. ඊළඟට තමයි පළවෙනි පාඩමේ ඉඳන් පිළිවෙලට වැඩේ කරගෙන යන්නේ. මම හිතනවා ඒක ඕගොල්ලන්ට වැදගත් වෙයි ඉදිරි පාඩම් ටික අවබෝධ කරගන්න. හරි. එහෙනම් අපි ක්ලාස් එක පටන් ගමු. ඔයා ක්ලාස් එකේ ඉන්නකොට ලයිව් ක්ලාස් එකට ජොයින් වෙනකොට මම කැමති ඕගොල්ලෝ වීඩියෝ ඔන් කරගෙන ඉන්නවා නම්. එතකොට ඔයයි මායි අතර තියෙන මේ සම්බන්ධය තවත් වැඩි වෙනවා ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාස් එකේ ඉන්නවා වගේ. ඒ නිසා අදට පළවෙනියට පන්තියට ජොයින් වුණ අයට දැන් වීඩියෝ ඔන් කරන්න අපහසු නම් ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. හැබැයි ඊළඟ දවසේ ඉඳන් ඔයා පන්තියට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න ඕනේ වීඩියෝ ඔන් කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට ඔයාගේ පාඩම් කරන මේසේ වාඩි වෙලා. එතකොට පන්තිය වඩාත් සාර්ථකයි. හරි. එහෙනම් අපි බලමු ගිණුම්කරණය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. right? ගිණුම්කරණය. හරි. මේකට මම සරල උදාහරණයක් ගන්නවා. හරි. පළවෙනියට මම පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහලා පටන් ගන්නම් වැඩේ. ළමයි ව්‍යාපාරයකට ගිණුම්කරණය කරන එක අනිවාර්යද? අනිවාර්යෙන් ඕනේද? අනිවාර්යද? ඔන්න වගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. හරිද? ඔයා දන්න විදිහට උත්තරයක් කියන්න බලන්න. හරි? දන්න විදිහට උත්තරයක්. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මයික් එක ඔන් කරලා උත්තර දෙන්න. ගිණුම් කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඕනේද ව්‍යාපාරයක් කරන්න? නැත්තම් තිබ්බොත් හොඳයි වගේද? මොකද தත්ත්වය? ගිණුම් කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඕනේද? නැත්තම් තිබ්බොත් හොඳයි වගේද? මොකද කියන්නේ? හරි? ගිණුම් කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඕනේද ව්‍යාපාරේ? හරි. ගොඩක් ළමයින්ගේ උත්තරේ වෙන්නේ ගිණුම් කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඕනේ ව්‍යාපාරේ. හරිද? මම කියනවා ගිණුම් කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඕනේ නැහැ ව්‍යාපාරයක් කරන්න. මම ඒක නිකම්ම කියනව නෙවෙයි මම ඒක ඔප්පු කරලත් පෙන්නනවා. හිතන්න ඔයාට තියෙනවා පොඩි සරල ව්‍යාපාරයක් ගමු අපි. හරි. ඔයාට තියෙනවා පොඩි මොබයිල් ෆෝන් ෂොප් එකක්. මොබයිල් ෆෝන් විකුණන කඩයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තියෙන කඩේ. හරි. දැන් මේ ව්‍යාපාරයෙන් ඔයාට ආදායමක් එන්නේ නැත්තම් ලාභයක් වෙන්නේ මොබයිල් ෆෝන් විකුණලා. ඔයාගේ ප්‍රධාන ව්‍යාපාර කටයුත්ත වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? මොබයිල් ෆෝන් ඔයා හදන්නේ නැහනේ. මොබයිල් ෆෝන් ඔයා ආනයනය කරන කෙනෙක්ගෙන් මිලදී අරගෙන ඒක විකුණනවා පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට. ඕක තමයි ඔයාගේ ව්‍යාපාරය. රයිට්? එතකොට හිතන්න. ඔයා මේ පැත්තෙන් ෆෝන් ගන්නවා මේ පැත්තෙන් ෆෝන් විකුණනවා. හරි.
ටෙස්ට්. හරි. සචිත් ඇහෙනවද මාව? හැමෝටම ඇහෙනවද? කිමතු කලන දැහැමි ඇහෙනවද මාව? ටෙස්ට්. ඇහෙනවද මාව? කලන ඇහෙනවද?
Okay. Dahami Kalana, can you hear me, Putana? Ayyo, something wrong, right? Something went wrong because it's connected with single medium accounting class. Sorry. I'm really sorry, right? Right, okay. Right, my next small question before starting the lesson. Tell me, Lamai, why you have chosen this field? That's my question. And this subject, and what is your objective, and what is the future ambition, lamai? Dipna, sorry. Lamai, please, can you switch on your videos? Dipna, පුතා වීඩියෝ එක on කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඉමුතු? Good. Right. Dipna, okay. Kalana, can you switch on your video? And Dahami also. Because I can monitor Lamai. It's better. Dahami, Kalana. Good. Wow. Kalana, පුතා වීඩියෝ එක on කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? කලන්ට මාව ඇහෙනවද? නැද්ද? හරි. Okay. හරි මට කියන්නකෝ ළමයි කලන නැද්ද? Why have you chosen this field? My next question before I start the lesson. My next question is, why have you chosen this field? I mean, commerce stream and subject of economics. කියන්න ළමයි. වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් තිබුණ නැද්ද නැත්නම් honestly වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් තිබුණ නැද්ද ළමයි? කියන්නකෝ ළමයි. කිමුතු?
Become an accountant.
Accountant, okay. And Dipna?
Revision for my future ambition.
What is your future ambition? That's what I'm asking.
Design.
Graphic designer. What is the relationship between this one and graphic? I mean, do you want to start your own business or?
Freelance.
That's better. Dahami? What is the purpose of choosing this subject?
Because I think it opens way to market.
It's good. Wow. Then Anuli. Owner of a business. Right. Kalana? Kalana. Kalana නැද්ද ගිහිල්ලාද? හරි. අහන්නකො ළමයි. ඔයාලා ඔය දන්නේ ටිකයිනේ. පොඩ්ඩයි දන්න ඔයාලා. හරිද? අහලා තියෙන chartered accountant උයි තමනක් තියෙන්නේ. ඩොක්ටර්යි, ඉංජිනියර්යි, graphic design එහෙම නෙමෙයි මම මේ underestimate කරනවා නෙමෙයි. graphic designer, lawyer ඊට පස්සේ තව මොනවද තියෙන ළමයි? ඔය ටික තමයි ලංකාවේ jobs. ඒ කියන්නේ ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු දන්නේ ඒ ටික විතරයි ළමයි. මම කියන එක තේරෙනවද? මේක හරි ගොඩක් wide area එකක් ළමයි. තේරුණාද? හරියට මේ වැඩේ කරගන්න. මම අර මේ first video එකේ ඔයාලට කියලා ඇති do something continuously and honestly. These two words have huge meaning ළමයි. Remember. හරිද? ඔයා මේක හරියට මේවා කරොත් ගෙදර ඉඳලා සල්ලි හොයන්න පුළුවන් ළමයි. කොහෙවත් යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. කවුරු ගාවත් වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. තේරුණාද? හැබැයි හරියට වැඩ කරන්න. ළමයි මගේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක ගොඩක් යන්නේ ඇනලිස්ට් පැත්තට. තේරුණාද? ඒ කියන්නේ මේක අර අතපත ගහන්න එපා උඩින් පල්ලි. කිසි තේරුමක් නැහැ ඒක. කරන වැඩේ හරියටම කරන්න ඕන. අනිත් එක තමයි පුළුවන් ඒ කියන්නේ මේක රිසර්ච් පැත්තට යන්නේ ළමයි. හරි ඉකොනොමික් රිසර්ච් ඊට පස්සේ ෆ්‍රීලාන්සින් ඊට පස්සේ ඉකොනොමික් ඇනලිස්ට් තේරුණාද? ඊට පස්සේ ඊතුරු සබ්ජෙක්ට්ස් වලටත් ඕනි. හැබැයි මේකේ අර ගොඩක්ම දුරට ගියොත් ඒක තමයි ඔයාලට යන්න පුළුවන්. තේරුණාද? අනිත් එක ළමයි quality writing හදාගන්න. මම එදා මේ අර අද ඉන්ට්‍රෝ වීඩියෝ එකෙත් කිව්වා ඉංග්ලිෂ් quality writing හදාගන්න ලංකාවේ ගොඩක් අයට නැති ස්කිල් එකක් ළමයි. තේරුණාද? ඔයාලට ඉකොනොමික් රිපෝට් එකක් ආටිකල් එකක් ලියන්න පුළුවන් නම් වන්ඩර්ෆුල්. ඒ කියන්නේ knowledge subject knowledge plus English. English කියන්නේ අපිට මේ මොනවා හරි කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් ළමයි. හැබැයි writing means a different skill. හරිද ළමයි? If you can develop both subject knowledge plus quality first class English writing. That clear ළමයි? I think it's clear. Then your value is uncountable ළමයි. Remember. Okay? Subject knowledge plus quality writing. English, huh? English quality writing. Not like third class. You can also, you and me can speak something ළමයි. Right? Okay? But its writing is totally different. Right. That's enough. When you come to today's lesson, this is basic concepts for economic basic mathematical concepts for economics. ළමයි ඔයාලා maths ඉගෙන ගන්න නැති එක O level වල නේද? කවුද මට කියන්න බලන්න maths වලට කැමති කවුද කියලා ළමයි? Who hate maths? I have seen some students, they hate maths ළමයි. Okay, sir, don't say the word, right? Maths. Oh my god. Anyone? Rahami, do you like mathematics? Wait. Dipna? No. Not bit interest. But remember, Lama, economic is a balanced subject, right? Theory plus practical plus maths. හරිද? ගොඩාක් maths නෑ ටිකක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒ ටික පොඩ්ඩක් පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනි ළමයි. තේරුණාද? ඔයාලගේ A level paper එකේ 40% විතර maths part එකක් තියෙනවා. plus මේ practical knowledge එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ ළමයි. practical knowledge එක පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙන්න ඕන. news එහෙම පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ඕන. පොඩ්ඩක් article එකක් එහෙම කියවන්න ඕනේ. තේරුණාද? What is the recent economics news in the world ළමයි? Do you anyone do you know that this Donald Trump, American president, has imposed 44% tariff on Sri Lankan exports? Right? That is a significant impact on Sri Lankan imports, lamai. Remember, not only for Sri Lanka, right? It is a common issue for the entire world, lamai. Remember, right? 44% tariff. Tariff means it's a tax, lamai. Remember, tax which is imposed on imported goods and services. That clear? When sending our products to USA, America, they charge a tax lamai on our products, causing prices of our products to increase. Okay, like you should have some reading lamai and practical knowledge, right? Today this lesson is going to focus main areas lamai, basic concepts which are required in economics, basic mathematics concepts lamai. That clear? Basic, right? Not advanced lamai, right? Basic. I think you may have learned this in O level also. That clear? But katapadang is not going to work out lamai. That is a problem. Katapadang කළා නම් මේක කරන්න බෑ ළමයි. තේරුණාද? පොඩ්ඩක් අර ස්මාර්ට් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට හරි. හරිද? Okay, basic concepts for mathematics. right. Look at this. The main aim this chapter is to provide basic mathematical knowledge, right? We are not going to discuss in detail my basic mathematics knowledge which is required in advanced level economic syllabus, right? Required in advanced level economic syllabus. Basic mathematics concepts. Okay, the lamai. Have you ever seen this word lamai? Variable? Give me 1 minute lamai. Right, okay lamai. So remember basic mathematics concept which are required in advanced level economics. My next one is lamai. Have you ever seen this word lamai? Variable. Ever? No idea. Variable. What is mean by variable lamai? What is mean by variable? Lamai, variable mean the meaning is something changing, right? According to Buddhist philosophy, you know that everything changes, right? With time. Here in mathematics, variable mean lamai. A variable is any indicator or factor that can change. Remember, variable simple idea is to change lamai, right? Fluctuate up and downs there, right? Change or vary mean change lamai, and that change can be measured or counted, right? To recognize as a variable lamai, there should be two characteristics. Number one, change. Other one is, the important one is lamai, this change should be, right? We should be able to measure this change numerically in numbers. Is that clear? Example lamai, your thoughts, right? Our feelings, our thoughts. Lamai, do they change or not? Change or not? Change lamai. උදේ තිබ්බ එක නෙමෙයිනේ හවස තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. හරිද? උදේ නෙමෙයි 5 minutes enough to change your feelings ළමයි. Your not attitudes, feelings. හරිද? හැබැයි ඒවා variables කියලා ගන්නෙ නෑ ළමයි. The reason is how can we measure our feelings and attitudes numerically. හරිද? Numbers වලින් measure කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ ළමයි. Numbers වලින් measure කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ variable එකක්. නැත්තම් ගන්න නෑ. හරි නේද? Right. Right. Example lamai, your age, your height, cost of living, temperature, these are variables now, right? In mathematics. These are not economic variables, right? These are general, right? General variables. Number one, age. Your age might changes, right? Now 17, next year maybe, no, now 16, right? Next year it would be 17, 18, 19, right? Then your age changes, lamai. Height changes. What is mean by cost of living, lamai? Cost of living. Cost of living. The economic concepts, lamai. Cost of living means how much you need to spend, right, to live. It's mean to buy basic necessities or goods and services, or simply we can say lamai the monthly expenditure. Okay, this is called cost of living. How much you have to spend to live, to survive. Then temperature, you can see it also changes. These are some variables. Lamai, we are not going to talk about all variables, right? We need to talk about only economic variables, Lamai. Only economic variables. Remember, an economic variable is any indicator or factor that can be measured or observed an economy. Remember, right? Economic variable mean anything which changes, and we should be able to measure the change numerically. Another one is lamai in observed in an economy. Clear the lamai. One example we can say lamai interest rate. One of main economic variables, right? Interest rates. Lamai, do interest rates change or not? Change or not? Sanuli, change lamai. If you can remember 2022, during Sri Lankan financial crisis, central bank increased interest rates. You, right, it's okay, don't worry, but I'm just talking, right? Increase interest rate up to like 20%, 25%, okay, to tackle the inflation, rise in inflation at that time. Now interest rate, it's like average, like 10%, 15%, right? You can borrow funds from any commercial bank, like 15 at interest rate 15%, 12%. These are the average rate now. It means interest rates have decreased in comparison to 2022, 2023. That clear? But I need to say, Lama, interest rate, these are economic variables. Exchange rate, Lama, right? Exchange rate. It's also variable. Is also very economic variable. An economic variable is any indicator or factor that can be measured or observed in an economy. Example, price of goods and services, interest rate, these are the variables. These are economic variables, right? These variables can be seen an economy, remember, right? And also we should be able to measure these changes in numbers. These are called economic variables, lamai. Other one, what is mean by inflation, lamai? Have you ever heard that? Nipna, inflation. මොකක්ද inflation කියන්නේ? Oh, wow. Wonderful. Hey, from where did you pick this word continuous? You said continuous increase in price level, right? Yeah. I'm asking from where did you pick this word? I mean, continuous. Commerce. ඒකේ continuous තියනවද ළමයි? Yeah, because normally students say increase in general price level is inflation, but it's wrong. Technically, the correct word is continuous. That's why I was wondering, like, how did you get that word? Continuous. Right. Yeah, not just increase in general price level. it should be continuous increase in general price level. Lama, you are grade 13 second lesson inflation price level. හරිද ළමයි? ඕක අපි දන්නේ නැතුනට අම්මලාගෙන් අහුවම හොඳට කියනවා නේද ළමයි? inflation. හරිද? මාකට් එකට එහෙම ගිහිල්ලාම බනිනවා නේද ළමයි? ගවර්න්මන්ට් එකට මොන කරුමයක්ද මේ මුළු අපි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? නේද? පොල් ගෙඩියක් මේ ගානට තිබ්බේ දැන් මේ ගාන. ඒක තමයි inflation කියන්නේ. මේවා changes. Right? In 2022, Sri Lankan inflation rate was, I mean, it's like a rocket. But now, somewhat okay. Clear the line. Variables. Exchange rate. These are variables. Change. Then money supply. Okay. Money supply. These are variables. Remember. Variables. Okay. Right, these are the economic variables. Number one, money supply, gross domestic product. Don't worry about this. Gross domestic product mean GDP. This is called GDP. Gross domestic product. GDP. Right? Gross GDP. Hari lamai. Exchange rate product danna neda lamai. $1 equals 300 rupees, 400 rupees. They were economic variables. Right. Then you know what variable is, something change, and also we should be able to measure the change in numbers. Right. When it comes to economic variables, economic variables mean like something change, okay, in an economy. Okay, interest rate, exchange rate, money supply, price of goods and services. Hari lamai. මේවා තමයි economic variables. අපිට ඕනේ economic variables විතරයි ළමයි. විතරේ ඕනේ. හරි. මෙන්න මේක අහලා තියෙනවද ළමයි කලින්? පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. Categories of variables මෙන්න මේ දෙක කලින් අහලා තියෙනවද ළමයි? Dependent variable and independent variable. ඔහේ හරි අහලා තියෙනවද ළමයි? තනුලි? Dependent variable, independent variable. Yeah, අනේ ළමයි කතා කරමු නැත්තම් හරි boring class. තේරෙනවද? No. Independent variable, dependent variable. ළමයි all economic variables can be divided into two parts. Right? Dependent variable and independent variable. Clear ද ළමයි? මොනවාද dependent variables? මොනවාද independent? Have you ever heard these two words? At least? No idea. Alan, where did you go, Huta?
My mother called me for work.
Okay, right. Okay, right. There are two types of variables, I remember. Okay, first one is independent variable, other one is dependent variable. Independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable and dependent variable. Give me 1 minute, lamai. Right. Read independent variable, lamai. Independent variable, the variable whose value is not affected by other variables. Right? Independent variable means a variable whose value, right, value of that variable is not affected or influenced by another variable. Harida, what is mean by dependent, lamai? Dependent variable means a variable whose value depends on the value of another variable. Lamai, example, right? Listen. let's say ළමයි price of a product. Price of a product. Price of a product and demand. Quantity demanded. Don't worry about these technical words, lamai. Everything will be discussed later on. These are very interesting lessons, right? This is chapter 2 in your syllabus. Right, listen. Lamai, when price of a product increases, what happens to number of units that people are willing and able to buy? If you are charged a higher price, do you like to buy more or less? Less, lamai. Then when price increases, lamai, people reduce the quantity demand. Quantity demand means number of units that you are willing and able to buy. That clear, lamai? When price goes up, people reduce the demand because we are rational buyers, lamai. That clear? If you don't have any psychological problem or something else, we are rational, lamai. Rational means we make the rational decision, right? Do you like to pay 5,000 to buy one pen? Pen mean like something to write. Do you like to pay 5,000 for buying one pen or one exercise book? Never, never. Why? We are rational buyers now, right? We always compare cost and benefits when making a decision. That clear, Lamai? In this economic class, Lamai, if you feel your cost is higher than benefits coming from my economics class, definitely you will leave the class. We are rational buyers, remember, Lamai. Rational. We make logical decisions. When price goes up, quantity demand reduces. Lamai, tell me here, what is dependent variable, what is independent variable? You can see when price goes up, quantity demand falls. It means, Lamai, value of quantity demand is affected or changed by price of a product, Lamai. That clear? When price goes up, quantity demand goes down. Here, Lamai, quantity demand is dependent variable. Why? Value of quantity demand is affected by the price of the product. Clear the lamai? මෙයාගේ value එක change වෙනවා. يعني මෙයාට මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ no backbone. When price goes up, goes down. When price goes down, quantity demand goes up. හරිද ළමයි? Value of this variable is affected by this variable. This is called dependent. This is called independent variable. Is that clear? ඔයාලගේ ගෙදර තාම dependent ද independent ද ළමයි? Dependent නේද? ඉන්නවද independent කවුරු හරි? ආව නැද්ද? නැහැ. හරි. Okay. Right. Then there are two variables, remember. Next one, another example to recognize this dependent independent. Let's say lamai small one that you can easily understand. Right. I'll take a small one. money supply. Lamai, don't worry about money supply. Money supply means coins and note issued by central bank. Clear the lamai? Money supply. And price level. Price level. Okay, the lamai. Lamai, if central bank increases its money supply. Make okay, the lamai. When money supply increases, price level goes up. Clear the lamai. Don't worry about these concepts. Will be discussed later on. What I need to say, what I need to show is the relationship between these two and how to recognize dependent and independent. Damn it. Right? Okay. When money supply increase, lamai, if central bank prints more money, price level goes up. If central bank reduces the money supply, or when money supply goes down, price level also goes down. Am I here? What is the dependent? What is the independent variable? මේක ළමයි ගොඩක් සීරියස් ගන්න එපා. මේවා කතා කරන මට ඕනි මේ money supply price level වලට කියලා දෙන්න නෙමෙයි. මට ඕනි මේ dependent independent variable දෙක කොහොමද හොයාගන්නේ කියලා. හරි නේද? Money supply and price level. මේ බලන්න ළමයි. When money supply increases, price level also increases. හරිද ළමයි? මට කියන්න මේක dependent මොකක්ද independent මොකක්ද? ඇහැමි. Price level is dependent. Why ළමයි? Price level is changed by money supply. Price level does not have a backbone. When money supply changes, price level automatically changes ළමයි. So remember, price level is dependent variable. Very good. Money supply is independent variable. Clear the lamai? Another small one. Listen. Production and cost. Production or output, we can say output and cost. Cost mean production cost. Huh? Tell me lamai. Oh my God. හරි ඕකේ ළමයි sorry. Right. Production and cost. Right, open your cameras ළමයි. Production and cost. ළමයි, assume you have a firm, business, production, manufacturing firm. If you produce a higher output or more units, assume you have a garment factory, right? Assume you have decided to produce more textiles, t-shirts or whatever. Clear the line? It means when if you increase the production, lamai, what happens to the cost? Increase or decrease? Increase. Very good. Yes, lamai. If you want to produce more output, lamai, you have to spend more. Why? You need more raw materials, you need more workers, I mean wages, salaries need to be paid, right? Electricity, that clear lamai. So when production increases, cost also increases, right? If you reduce the production, cost also reduces. Palana, tell me, in this case, what is dependent variable and what independent variable is?
Production is independent variable.
Yes, lamai. Production is independent variable. Why? The dependent variable is cost. Why, lamai? The value of cost is changed by production. Value of cost is changed by the production. So cost should be the dependent variable. Production should be dependent variable. Okay, the lamai. Now you should be able to recognize dependent and independent. Imutu, is it clear, Buddha? Yes, good. Okay, lamai. Now, lamai, mainly there are two relationship between, give me 1 minute. Two relationship between these variables, lamai. There are two main relationships, lamai. Number one, positive relationship. Other one is negative relationships. Very simple, lamai. You know this. Positive and negative, simple. Example, lamai. Very simple. Positive relationship means, previous example, when production increases, what happens to the cost, lamai? Production cost, it falls. Sorry, it increases. Sorry, it increases. Cost also increases. When production falls, lamai, cost also falls. You can see these two variables, production and cost, change same direction, lamai. When one variable increase, other variable also increase. When one variable decrease, other variable also decrease, lamai. These kind of relationships are called positive relationships. Remember the habit, right? What is the name? Positive relationship. Positive relationship means, simple way you can understand, when one variable increases, other variable also increases. When one falls, other also. Same direction, lamai. Right? Example, your age and your size, weight. හරිද ළමයි? When age increases, what happens to your weight? Decreases ද ළමයි? නිප්න? Increase නේද ළමයි? Positive relationship. නේද ළමයි? Look at this. Positive correlation or positive relationship between two variables that tend to move in the same direction ළමයි. Same direction. When one increases, other one also increases. Positive correlation exceeds. Correlation exceeds when one variable tends to decrease as other variable decrease, or one variable tend to increase when other increase. Very simple ළමයි. Right? Other one is negative relationships. Other one is negative relationships ළමයි. Look at these two. An increase in money supply causes an increase in general price level. General price level. Right? An increase in money supply. When money supply increases, lamai, general price level increases. Positive relationship. Okay, lamai. Positive. When price of goods and service increase, what happens to cost of living, lamai? Also increase. Cost of living means you have to spend more money to buy goods and services, lamai. Hari neda? So positive. Negative relationship means, am I very simple? When one variable increases, other variable decreases. Opposite direction lamai. When one rises, other falls. Right? The best example is lamai. When price of a good increase, very simple lamai. When price of a good increase, people buy less of that good. Simple. When price of the product increases, QD falls lamai. Negative relationships. Clear the lamai. When price falls, quantity demand increase. Clear the lamai. Negative. When one increases, other falls. Opposite directions lamai. Opposite direction. Clear the lamai. Hari. Aiparak kiyamu abi. You should be able to define a variable. There are two types of variables, dependent and independent. Dependent mean lamai, the value of that variable is changed by another variable. Clear the lamai. Independent variable mean the variable whose value is not affected by another variable. Is that clear lamai? Right. And there are two type of relationships lamai, positive and negative. Right. This is your time. There's a small exercise. Small exercise. You can do this lamai. Statement, independent variable, dependent variable, and relationship mean lamai positive or negative. Is that clear? Right. Check your writing book lamai. Remember lamai, tomorrow, I'll be sending your press tube to the group. Lamai, what is the best method? I can courier, or you can get printouts. What is the best method? Which method do you like? Courier. Kimutu? මොකක්ද හොඳ? courier කරන්නද print outs ගන්නවද?
Take print out.
Can take print. Courier mean lama it little bit like it will take 3-4 days, 3 days maximum. කලන මොකද කරන්නේ?
I'll take a print out.
print out. මම cover page එකත් එක්කම දාන්නම්. මේ cover page එකත් එක්කම ගන්න. එතකොට ඔයාලට දිගටම අර තියාගන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් අර tubes ටිකක් අර damage වෙනවා කාලයක් යන. හරි නේද? හරි. හරි මේක කරමු ළමයි. Take your writing book. No need to write the question because I have already uploaded the tube, whole tube, the group. You can just answer the question given. Lamai, there's a statement. Lamai, don't worry about this statement. These are economic statements, right? Every and each concept statements will be discussed later on in detail. Don't worry about this concept. Understand what I'm talking about, right? Uh, don't worry about the idea inside this statement, right? I want you to recognize dependent, independent, and relationship between these two variables. That's it, Namai. Okay. I'll do one. When price of the product rises, quantity supplied increases. ළමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් product එක price එක increase වෙනකොට producers ලා බලනවා අර වැඩිපුර produce කරන්න. Expecting more profit. Clear ළමයි? It means when price of the product, sorry, when price of a product increases, ළමයි, quantity supply QS also increase. Right? මොකක්ද ළමයි relationship? Sorry, මේ independent මොකක්ද dependent මොකක්ද ළමයි? Can you recognize? අපි කිමුතුගෙන් අහමු. කිමුතු මොකක්ද dependent මොකක්ද independent?
Quantity dependent.
Quantity supply is dependent. ඇයි ළමයි? එයා change වෙනවා price එක change වෙනවා. එතකොට මෙයා තමයි dependent. Second එක තමයි dependent. මොකක්ද independent ළමයි? Sanuli, what is the independent variable here? Price ළමයි. This is the independent variable. Clear නේද ළමයි? Make a independent variable, make a dependent variable. එහෙනම් මොකක්ද independent variable? Independent variable is price. Dependent variable is quantity supplied. ළමයි මේවා ගැන ලොකුවට හිතන්න එපා. ඔයා මේ relationship එක අල්ලන්න එච්චරයි. Quantity supplied. Quantity supply. අපි අහමු ළමයි කාගෙන්ද නිප්නාගේ මොකද relationship එක ළමයි? What is the relationship between these two variables ළමයි? Positive නේ. Why do you say positive? Because when price increases, other also increases ළමයි. Same direction නේද ළමයි? When one increases, other also increases. What is the relationship පුතා? Positive or negative? Positive. Right. Do other 4 parts ළමයි. There are 4 questions for you. First one okay. Sorry. First one okay. First one done. Independent variable is price. Dependent variable is quantity supplied. When pricing, quantity supply also increases. Relationship is positive. පුත් issue එකක් නෑ නේද ළමයි තේරෙනවා නම් කියන්න. Second එක බලන්න. A rise in inflation rate reduces demand for exports. ළමයි මේ concepts හිතන්න එපා. මම කියන ඔයාලට clear ඇති. Concepts වැඩක් නෑ. මේවා ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ නෑ කොහොමද? හරිද? Recognize dependent and independent variable. That's it. Rise in inflation rate reduces demand for exports. Tahami, what is the dependent, what is independent? Simple. Mute. I can't hear you, Buddha. I think you are mute. Sure, Kibutu. I'll add you to the group. Yeah. No issue. Rise in inflation reduces demand for exports. What happened on the this? Demand for exports is changed by price level ළමයි. කලන what is dependent, what is independent පුතා?
Inflation is independent.
Yes, very good. Very good. Inflation is independent. Inflation is independent. Demand for exports. Demand for exports is a dependent. ළමයි මොකද්ද relationship එක? Negative නේද ළමයි? Why? When inflation increases, demand for export falls. Separate direction, two direction, opposite direction. When one increases, other falls. හරි නේද ළමයි? Negative relationship. Negative. When economic growth rate rises, rate of unemployment falls. Lamai, don't worry about these technical words. Economic growth rises, rate of unemployment falls. Right? What is the dependent? What is independent, Lamai? What is dependent? What is independent? Simple, neda lamai. Dipla? Third one?
Economic growth is independent.
Yeah, very good. Economic growth is independent variable. Yes. Economic growth. Unemployment is dependent because the rate of unemployment is affected or changed by the rate of economic growth. හරි නේද ළමයි? Unemployment. ළමයි මොකද්ද relationship එක? දැහැමි? When economic growth increases, unemployment falls. මොකද්ද relationship එක ළමයි? Positive ද negative ද? දැහැමි? Positive or negative පුතා? Positive. පුතා ඔයාව ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ. Mute වෙලාද? මොකද්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Hari. Okay, right. Okay. So relationship is negative. Negative relationship is there. Right. Next opportunity is for Alana. Higher income has resulted a higher demand for vehicles.
Higher income is for independent way. Higher demand is for
Dependent, yes. Income is independent variable. When income is independent variable. Demand for vehicles, demand for vehicles. Demand for vehicles is dependent variable because my demand for vehicles depends on people's income. In other words, my demand for vehicles is changed by change in income. Lamai, positive or negative? When income rises, demand for vehicles increase. Positive or negative? Kalana?
positive.
Positive, ne lamai. Right. Simple. Now you know. Understood the point. Right. Last one. A company spends more money on advertising and customers begin to purchase more products or services from that company. Can you understand dependent and independent? A bit hard, but it's you can. මොකද්ද dependent මොකද්ද independent? හරි මේකේ මේ variables තමයි ළමයි. Advertising, expenses on advertising and sales. sales. මොකද dependent මොකද independent ළමයි. මේක හොඳට අල්ලන්න ළමයි. මොකද මේ ඔයාලගේ independent dependent නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් දැන් graph එකක් අපි අඳිනකොට ඔයාලා dependent independent දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. O level තමයි අර unconsciously ඔයා ඇන්දේ ළමයි. හරිද? ඔයා දන්නේ නැහැ dependent දන්නෙත් නැහැ independent දන්නෙත් නැහැ. අර මොකක් හරි කඩපාඩම් කරගෙන ඇඳලා ආව නේද ළමයි ගිහිල්ලා. එහෙම නේද? එහෙම බෑ. මේ graph එකක් අඳිනකොට ඔයා dependent independent ඔයා දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ ළමයි. එතකොට graph එක වැරදි. no sense. හරි නේද ළමයි? Right. Okay. This is for Kimutu. Last one. Fifth one. What is dependent? What is independent ළමයි?
Sale is independent and advertising is dependent.
Again. Give a try. Puta, when company spends more money on advertising and customers begin to purchase more products, service from that company. When advertising increase, sales increase. What is dependent? What is independent?
Advertising dependent.
Advertising dependent ළමයි. අය පාරක් බලන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් advertising කරනකොට sales වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. හරිද? The level of sales depend on advertising. Advertising මොකද්ද? Independent ද dependent? Independent or dependent ළමයි? Others ළමයි? Right. Is it independent or dependent ළමයි? A company spends more money on advertising and customers begin to purchase more products or services from that company. You can see the value of sales. Yes, advertising is independent, Buddha. Advertising is independent. Advertising is independent and sales is dependent. Because the value of sales is changed by the amount spent on advertising. That clear lamai? So advertising should be dependent. Lamai, relationship positive or negative? Positive neda lamai? Yes. When advertising increase, sales also increase. When the money spent on advertising decrease, sales also decrease lamai. So the relationship should be positive. Same direction lamai. Both advertising and sales change same direction. Harida? Kimutu harida ඔයාට මේක තේරුණාද දරු? Is it okay? Okay. Right. Okay ළමයි. Right. Next one is use of graphs and equations. Right. I'm doing this next week. Right. Most probably Friday. Right. During your paper revision class. Right. Okay, lamai. That's enough today. Thank you for coming. Right. Go through these nodes and Qt will be uploaded, lamai. Or send your doorstep. Right. Okay, lamai. That's enough today. Thank you for coming. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.